So then once you had the schedule completed, you have 3 different levels of WACC, and your WACC that you'll use depends on how much money you need, what your capital budget's going to be. But we don't really know what our capital budget is until we know which projects we're going to do. And we don't know which projects we're going to do until we compare them to our WACCs. So to do that, we have to set up a graph where we're going to graph our WACC levels against our IRRs of our projects. So from 0 to $72 million, we're at that first level of WACC. From $72 million $1 to $120 million, we're at that next level of WACC. And from $120 million and above, we're at that third level of WACC. So along here we have dollar amounts, new capital raised and invested is what that's supposed to say. And along here we have our percentages, whether it's our WACC percentage or our IRR percentage. And then against that, you graph, on the same graph, you graph your projects. You always start with the highest IRR first. We want to maximize this area, so we start with the highest IRR project first. And that first project goes from, what is that first project? First project, the highest IRR was $36 million. So we go from 0 to $36 million is our first project. It has an IRR of 12.1. That's above the corresponding WACC of 10.1, so we do project C. Project D, we then add on the cost. Project D costs $29 million, so we add that to the $36 million. So adding on the $29 million to the $36 million, we're at a total of $65 million. At $65 million, we're still in that first WACC range of 0 to $72 million. So we compare this project IRR of 11.7 to the WACC of 10.1. Return is above cost, so we do project D. And then so on and so forth. Project B, you add its cost on. And now we are beyond that first WACC. If we do project B, we'll need, whatever this is, we'll need $90 million or so. At that dollar amount, we are above the first breakpoint. So now our WACC that we'll use is the second WACC, the 10.4. So comparing the 11.5 to the 10.4, return is still greater than the cost, so we would do project B. Same thing for project E. We're still at that second WACC level. Compare 10.7 to 10.4, we do project E. But now once we add project A to the mix, its total dollar amounts we need is below, or gets us below that WACC of 10.4. So once this graph breaks the WACC graph, that's where we stop. We do not do project A, because doing it would, for one, require us to raise more money to where our WACC would go up to 10.9%, and the IRR is now below the 10.9%. So we would do project C, D, B, and E. So our optimal capital budget is the sum of those 4 projects. So our optimal capital budget is 115, and the WACC that we would use is the 10.4 WACC, because that's the WACC we'll be at to raise enough money to do these 4 projects. So the ultimate answer to the case problem is, and question 9 in the case is this. It's where you'll have this type setups. This is what I'd want to see, is a schedule like this that has all your costs that you calculated from the previous 8 problems in the case. And then I want to see a graph similar to this, where you show me your IRRs graphed against your WACCs, and the ultimate answer would be the optimal capital budget is 115 doing these 4 projects, and the WACC that we would use is 10.4%.